Hello everybody, it's Sharon from Blessed to Craft Designs, and I'm here today to do another collegiate wreath. This time it's the Georgia Bulldogs. Woo! Alright, so this is a requested wreath, so I'm going to show you. This is going to be a short video just like the last time. I think I'm getting to the point now where I can do my wreaths in about 30 minutes. But this is going to be the kind of the fan or the bow tie. Some people call it butterfly method. And I've gone ahead and I've cut everything out. Of course, Georgia Bulldog colors, as you can see, the red, black, and the white. I have my working wreath here. You know, I get these from Carolina Pottery. Let me find the camera. Here we go. All right, so they're about $5.90, I think $5.99. I also got this from Carolina Pottery. There is the frame, the sign on that if you want to look that up. And then because I've done these wreaths so much, I do have quite a bit of just really remnants of ribbon that I'm going to use. This is a big one that happened to come off the spool, so I just had to roll this one back up. I do have some chevrons, so I have about 4 different prints of ribbon. I'm gonna move my sign to the side for right now. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and get started on the wreath. So again, what I said I was gonna do, which is kind of the fan method. If you hold your, and I cut this everything already. I guess it's about, I estimate anywhere between 8 to 10 inches. I try not to do them any shorter than that. Definitely not shorter than 8 inches. And try not to do any more than probably 12. I mean, it's kind of a personal preference. Some of mine may be a little bit longer than others, but I don't mind that. Okay, so you just lay it down flat, and I lay it where the curl is going opposite of, oh, and I forgot pipe cleaners too. Okay, so you lay this down opposite of the curl, and you grab it in the middle, and then you just come straight up. I usually have all my ties already out. It just makes it easier. I didn't do that this time. And be aware when you buy these. And there are some places online where you buy these wreaths from, what they call a working wreath. And they're thinner than this. These have the thick ties, which I kind of like that. All right, it's got the tag on it, but I'll cut that off in just a second. So I like to go ahead and prep my wreath and have everything out. All right, and so I'm thinking what I'll do is about 2 of them on each one, and I'm going to do the same color. Now let me start on the outside, because normally I like to start on the outside and work in. I don't know why. This makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so I'm gonna work with that right there. Just a little bit, because I really want you to see this. I've done this technique in a couple of other ones. Just make sure you kind of try to grab it in the middle, okay? And again, it makes it look like a kind of a bow tie or fan or butterfly. And then you put that pinch down in the middle where your tie is. All right. Same thing here. Lay it down flat, and you won't get it completely flat all the way. To work with it sometimes. Okay. Go to your next one. And I'm going to show you, if you do it this way, you probably can do it that way. It just kind of curls up a little bit more to me when you roll it towards the curl. And you know, the closer that you get to the end of the roll, the more your Deco Mesh actually curls up. So, and this one I did cut a little bit longer. You don't have to throw the white in there. If you just want to do red and black, you can. But I just like to have a little bit of white, because that is a part of the Georgia colors, the red, white, and the black. And this was at the beginning of the roll. That's why they're not as curly as the other ones. Okay, so we're going to keep doing that pattern all the way around the red, the black, and the white. And just do kind of one twist. The great thing about a wreath, you don't have to do all of the same thing, whatever you start off with. You know, if you want to do some like this, with this method, and if you want to throw just a couple of them in there that are rolled, you can do that also. Let me go here, get some more blank. Try not to reach in front of the camera too much. Oh, got my shirt. Right, again, open it up, sit down. You can kind of turn them just a little bit, just so they fan out a little bit more. But it'll fill in more once we put all the rest of them down. So what's next? The red. Oh, and another thing before I forget, I'm probably going to fast forward this just a little bit or come back in just a minute. But if you want to put a base color down, let's just say the Pouf method. I'm going to show you this really quick. If you wanted to do the Pouf method, and just pick one of your colors. I'm going to show you this. I'm not going to actually do this, I don't think. But do your Pouf, and then again you can come back and then do your fan method on top of that, if you want to try to fill it in just a little bit more. But by the time we get finished, it's going to be pretty full. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of these, and then I'll be right back. All right, I am back with finishing, and I just have stuff kind of thrown on here to get an idea of where I want to put my ribbon. Let me grab my sign. The only thing that I'm missing right now, and I think I'm gonna go purchase that, so I probably won't finish this until later on today. That is going, the Deco Mesh, the tubing, the long tubing, like this, the Deco Mesh tube. I get this from Carolina Pottery. I don't have any in black or red. I have, as you can see, the kind of off-white, and I think I got like a blue and orange, every color but black, white, or red. Okay, so this is the sign that will go right here. And probably what I'll do is use, I don't know, I might get some twine this time. Before I've kind of hot glued it on there, but somebody might want to use this later on. I still may do that, we'll see. But the sign, you see how big that is? It fits. And if you want to nestle this down in there, you can. I kind of like the fact that it's sitting up a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and start adding some of my ribbon. Okay. And then I can always come back later. I think that tubing will just kind of set it off a little bit more. So I think I'm going to go and get that. These are two different sizes, but it'll be okay. All right, and then you just pinch these in the middle. You have to go all the way down again to the bottom. And if I get that tubing, I can just layer that right on top of there. I don't have to move anything around. It's kind of longer on one end with this black and white one. Oops. So just pull it through like that. And trying to alternate. Now this is probably right here going to be my one that you see in all of them quite a bit. There may be a few that are different. All right. Just chevron the ends. And again, I use, usually at a minimum in my wreaths, I use, so that's on top this time. I use about 4 different ribbon patterns. All right, make sure you go all the way down to the bottom and twist. So now this one I'll do, that had the black stripe, that had the black and white polka dot, so this one will do the red and white polka dot. And the amount of ribbon that you put on is completely up to you. You can put a lot, you can put a little. You can put, you know, all 4 of them on every one of them, or 3 and then 2. It's just, it's up to you. However you want your wreath to look, that's what you do. And again, if you put it down, you don't like it, just undo it, just take it off. Sometimes that's one of the reasons, all right, where's my other tie? One of the reasons why when I finish, or when I think I'm close to being finished, I will put this up on the wall or up on my door inside the house and just kind of look at it and see how it looks, because with it sitting up, that's always usually a little bit, it looks a little bit different when you have it hanging up on the wall. So That's kind of a good rule of thumb, is to hang it up and take a look at it. It's kind of like a picture. You know, if you have a picture, you put it up on the wall, you may decide that you don't like it where it is. Or if you have like a group or something of pictures together, you don't like how it is, you know, kind of take it down. Alright, and then as you're putting this down, and the way you get it to do the four, like it's in the four corner, you just twist it out like that. If you want it that way, you don't have to do it that way. You can leave it all together, or you can fan it out that way. So then we had the red and the black. So I am going to do this all the way around. As far as I know of right now, because usually on the front, I don't like to put a whole lot of ribbon because you got the sign there. So I'm gonna go finish the rest of this, trying to keep with my promise to keep this video less than 30 minutes, and I will be back. All right, everybody, I'm back to finish this wreath. It's taken me about a week to go get some other supplies that I needed, but I'm ready to finish it now. So I went to Carolina Pottery, and I did pick up a couple of Deco Mesh tubes. I want to incorporate this in there. And while I was there, I found this cute little college or the football die cuts already done. You see I paid $3.99 for this. When you kind of think about it, $4, you know, if I just put it on there like this, yeah, maybe I'll spend a lot, but I actually will separate these and I'll show you how to do that. So it kind of seems like you're getting a little bit more bang for your buck. All right, so what I want to do first is put some of the tubing in there, just to give it a little bit more, just something a little extra. I like to do something a little extra on my wreath, so I'm gonna, now you can do these just one like that, but I'm gonna see maybe putting both colors down. And you may not want to do this for every area, every spot. But if you do it like that, that makes some cute little loops. And then remember, you always open up your tie and go all the way down to the bottom. I might move this and put it up here, because it's not really that big. And then maybe I'll make a bigger one going down when I put one down there. So we're gonna see how this looks. That was only two that time. So let's put this one over here. And then we can just put a red on this side. Again, it's up to you what you want to do. I'm gonna make this one a little bit bigger because I want it to stand out a little bit more. We can go ahead and clip this off so it's not getting in my way. And I like to leave the ends out, you know, like that. That's another little added touch. Okay, so go all the way down to the very bottom and then twist it back, and then you can kind of play with this a little bit, okay? Okay, but see how it looks sticking out from there. And then maybe I'll do just a red one up here. I have to find the end again. There it is. I'll do another red and black one to the back. And you can make just two, almost like a bow, or three. Sometimes I'll do them in fours. It just depends on you. And you see this mesh tubing, it was only like $1.50. And you get quite a bit. They do have larger packages of it, but I didn't think I would need that much. So I'm gonna turn it this way, because I actually want that sticking out like that. And I'm gonna put this one down right here. All right, and then you just kind of fluff that out. Okay, everybody, sorry about that. It was getting hot over here in my space with all these lights. I had to go turn a fan on. All right, so this is about where I'm going to place each one of these little picks right here that I have. So I'm gonna go ahead and place those down. And this is very pliable here, this little wire. So I'm so grateful for that. Scratched myself. All right, and I like to put that all the way down to the bottom. And then twist. That way I can kind of hide that a little bit. All right, and it's sticking out right there. And I want it to come this way. So you just kind of have to learn how to manipulate this wire to do what you want it to do. All right, and then I just twisted it around and then tucked it under. And again, you can still kind of play with it a little bit. All right, so there's one. Trying to move a little bit faster. And this one I can stick out from here, which will be on the bottom, but that's okay. All right, and I'll leave it sticking out just a little bit. All right, tie it down a little bit tighter. And then I'm just gonna go underneath the bottom and twist this wire all around this tinsel tie that's on here. And then I'll just tuck it underneath the bottom. When you're adding stuff to your wreaths like this, you almost just kind of have to figure out what works. Now the only thing I did wrong here is I should have taken this stuff and moved it on top. Let's see if I can do that. That way you won't really see some of it. That way you really won't see too much of that part sticking out. Okay, Let's see. There, you can do that a little bit. That way you see more of, you see more of this than you do the wire, okay? I apologize if you didn't see that. I'll do this one hopefully in the camera, the viewing part, so you can see it. All right, so this is where I'm going to put this one. So open this out. And I want to put it all the way down to the very bottom. So I want to stack everything. You keep getting out. Let me turn it this way. I want to stack everything. So I'm taking my ribbon out. And I want to stack everything on top of this because I kind of want to hide. I want to hide as much of that as I can. Okay, so lay it down. Lay your ribbon back on there. And then twist it back. And usually with embellishments and things, I try to do these last because to me, it just makes it easier to me when I put the embellishments on there last, because you get a better picture of how the wreath is gonna look before you put all your little doodads on there. All right, and then I'm just tucking that under. And see, I want it to stick out, but I want to try to cover up as much as that little wire stand as I can. Okay, so I believe this is how I had it to begin with. Can't remember now. It'll be okay. All right. And I want to make sure you can see. You see the football there. We got our little helmet over here. We can pull that out a little bit more. And then here is the jersey down here. I think that just added another little special touch to it. Okay, so last thing we're going to do is add on the sign. That's the very last thing I'm going to do. And I decided that I am going to hang my sign kind of this way, except for I'm going to put this to the back. So I'm going to show you. You're going to see exactly what I'm going to attempt to do. I don't know how well this is going to work. Normally I would kind of hot glue a bunch of stuff on the back of here to try to get it to stay, but I really want to try to get away from doing that because people might want to utilize the sign later on for something else. So I'm going to try to see if I can pull this through here. It's almost like trying to thread through an eye of a needle. And it frays so bad. I'm sure there is an easier way to do this. Normally I don't get quite this much fraying. But today is one of those days. Okay, so let me see if I can grab it. Usually if I can get a good twist on it, a really, really, really good twist. All right, so I finally got this through, And I want to tie a knot here, but before I tie this knot, you could hot glue it down if you want. I think I'm going to thread just a piece of a Chanel stem in there and then tie it down to kind of stabilize this a little bit more, because I don't want, you know, if you're putting this on your door outside, I don't want this to, so see, that made it a little bit thicker. And I'm gonna cut this excess off. Make sure I don't cut my knots. And I very well, would you look at that? Okay, that didn't do me any good whatsoever because that piece is not even long enough to do anything. Okay. Find a long piece. That must have been just a little one that I had left over. All right, so let's try this again. So no, I can't get this thread through. I might have to come back. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna cut this little piece off, stick this down in there. All right, and then I'm going to tie this into a knot. And I get questions quite a bit about, you know, how do I, you know, get signs and stuff to say, and see, then that just comes back. That just kind of stabilizes it to me just a little bit more than just having this tubing. All right, so to know how much, you're gonna need to know which one of these ties are you gonna try to tie it on, if it's going to be that one, and how much, you know, this has quite a bit of hang to it. I don't know, you can see how bouncy that is. So we very well may have to go to the one in the back, but I don't want to cut it too short and then have to go through this entire process of threading this again. One thing is if I decide to do it this way, if it turns out to be too long, I can twist it at the top to shorten it. I can also snip that and tie it a little bit tighter. So there are ways around it. I mean, with this, you're gonna have to kind of learn how to be creative and just to improvise to find something that works. Okay. Where did that red? I lost my Chanel stem, because I know that wasn't all of it. Not that red one. Let me just find another one. It's probably attached to the back of my wreath. All right, so I'm sticking that down in there, maybe about an inch, inch and a half. Cut this off. Now make my knot. Okay, and I'm pulling it kind of tight. And another reason why I'm using that Chanel stem in there is because if you can tie this tubing, it will tie, but you know, if you're gonna do that way without putting something in there, then I would definitely put a little bit of hot glue in there, okay, to make sure that doesn't come loose. All right. So there we have that, and because this is so long, I'm gonna go to the very back, and I want to kind of embed this in, and I think I'm gonna stick it right back here. All right, so I want to go, and like I said, when you pick this up now, it's going to drop some, as you can see, and I definitely want to try to make sure it looks like it's even. All right, and my tie is The one that I want is right here. So I need to make sure that's, and it is, I think I don't want it to droop down any more than that. If I let it go all the way, it's gonna be down there and I have all this space. I want it right in the middle. So I think I'm going to cut that. And so you can tie that just like that. And just to blend that in a little bit more, let's grab some of this. Ooh, it's decided to storm. The rain is coming down now. All right, so I'm gonna take some more of this. All right, that's not secured on there yet, okay? So we need to untie this. We're gonna put that in there. Stick that on top of there. And now give it a really good twist. And I'm gonna hope that that is even, but it's dropping down a little bit too much for me. You see how it dropped? It has some give to it. So I'm gonna go back and do this again. And might even be able to undo this knot here. All right, so I'm gonna hold it this time to kind of see. I think right there, let me give just a little bit more. I think right there is where I want it, because I'm gonna actually fluff this around a little bit. So I'm going to tie it right there. All right, and then get this part. All right. Let's turn this around. And now, the only thing you have to do now is just kind of work your everything around the sign, okay? So just bring everything in, bring all your tails to your ribbon out, any little embellishments like that you have. Bring those out, so you're actually kind of building. And some of these ties right here, you can, some of them you might have to, you can actually turn them inward a little bit, just to kind of fluff it up some more. Because again, you want to, I like for my signs to look like, I use the word nestled. You want to kind of make it look like it's nestled right down there where inside of the wreath, the middle part of the wreath, okay? And then you just kind of have everything else coming around it. But that's just a personal preference. You can always put your sign, you can put it down a little bit further, you can put it up top. So there is everything that's on there. Now, you know, like I tell you all the time, that I put my wreath up and look at it again, kind of tweak it. You know, I'll have to cut off all these the fraying and everything like that. But for the most part, that is it. Very simple. It's cute. I love it. I love doing these wreaths. I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan. I'm a Georgia girl. So I love doing these wreaths. And again, I might put a little bit of hot glue on there just to make sure these don't come loose. And I don't think they will because of the Chanel stem, but just to make sure, I don't want it to fall off. Again, you have to make sure these are sturdy enough to withstand. If they're going outside, they got to be sturdy enough to withstand, you know, the rain, the wind, and all that kind of good stuff. All right. So thank you so much for joining me today, for visiting my channel. I hope you gained something, you learned something. I would love to see if you try a wreath like this too. I do have a group page on my Facebook page, which is Blessed to Craft. But the name of the group is Wreath Designers Network. Wreath Designers Network. Those of us who love to do wreaths, whether you're starting out or you've been doing them a long time, we talk about, you know, different topics dealing with wreaths. Where do you get supplies from? Where are the best places to get supplies? So I'd love for you to join us on on my Facebook page and just share your love for making wreaths. Thank you so much again for joining me, and as always, be blessed.